most important person in the room today from Jimmy's perspective. So, I just want to take a moment and thank you all for coming. This is a special occasion for Jimmy DeFrancesco and his family. It's something that I think Jimmy never realized was going to ever come to fruition, but it's something, when I talk a little bit later, you'll begin to realize why he's so deserving of this recognition and promotion today. I just wanted to take this opportunity to welcome Jimmy's family. I know them very well, you know, between, where's Israel? I'm behind a granddaughter. So Darlene, Mandy, where's Crystal? Oh, there she is. Okay. And then Jimmy, and then Mrs. DeFrancesco. Thank you very much for coming. I know that this means a lot to all of you. I also want to acknowledge some of our special guests that are here today. Chief Tom Pasquarello, who's known Jimmy for many, many years, long before his DA days and things like that, growing up in Cambridge. Deputy Chief Mike Cabral from Somerville Police Department as well. I want to thank him for coming. Sergeant Dave O'Connor. I just, you know, I really got to know him very well. I knew him peripherally, but we got to know each other pretty well over the last several weeks. But he's a great guy, and I know I'm really glad he's here, and I know he's close to Jimmy in terms of being here. And Superintendent Kenny Fong, also very close to Jimmy, and from Boston Police Department. Kenny moves around a lot. He's administrative services now, so but he and I talked a lot on a variety of different occasions. I'm glad that he's here as well. So I'm trying to forget anybody else. Oh, well, I was going to recognize Councilor Craig Kelly from the council. Thank you very much for being here. I appreciate that. I also want to pay a special thanks to our retired members. I asked the superintendent to acknowledge everybody because I'm going to miss somebody. I know a lot of you, but I think it's best that we recognize all of you for coming here. Again, Jimmy's 30-some odd years with this police department has touched a lot of people, and you all work with him. And I'm glad to see that Paul Burke's here, a long-time member in what, Car 3?
Not retired yet.
Car 1, Car 3. No, that's why I recognize you. I got to know you were. And I really want to thank the members of the police department for being here. This means a great deal to us. It means a great deal to Jim. A lot of you I've worked very closely with Jim over the last several years, and again, I appreciate you being here. And then Jim's new crew from records management and property and evidence. Really, they've been working very closely with Jim, and I think they have a fondness for just his abilities and things like that. And again, I want to thank you all for being here. Okay. And Councilor David Marr just came in, so I want to acknowledge you. Thank you.
The commissioner recognized Jimmy's family, but we in the department consider all of our personnel one big family. And as the commissioner said, it's nice to have retired members come back, and I'd like to recognize them now. Superintendent Dave DeGoo, Captain William Burke, Detective Ron Canilli, and Officer Jimmy Vudaritza. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you for coming. At this point, I'd like to ask everybody to please stand. At this time, I would like the honor guard to please present Deputy Superintendent James DeFrancesco.
Forward, march. Wham. 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 Ready, ho! Wham, pace!
This time I'd like everybody to please remain standing while we conduct the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. On again.
Right, pace! Forward, punch! Wham. 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 Wham.
Please be seated. I'd like to ask the City Manager, Robert Healy, to come up and say a few remarks.
Thank you very much, Superintendent. And I guess I didn't have enough time to count up all of the appointments and all of the promotions that I've been fortunate enough to make in my 32 years. This is probably and definitely, I would say, my last. And it's one I'm extremely proud of, because Jimmy DeFrancesco has been an invaluable asset to this department, to the commissioners in this department, and to the city as a whole. So I'm greatly proud to be here, Jimmy, to see this happen. Thank you.
Now I'd like to ask Commissioner Haas, the keynote speaker. Come on.
So I just want to take a few minutes to kind of reflect how we got here and why Jimmy's sitting before us and sitting in this capacity. As I started out by saying, it's a day that I don't think Jim ever expected was going to happen, but it truly is a day that he deserves. He worked extremely hard. As the city manager reflected, he's been really entwined in terms of all the city politics and politics. The day-to-day issues and things like that take place. But I just wanted to kind of reflect upon some of the things from my experience in terms of why I think Jimmy's so deserving of this recognition and this promotion, and really a huge milestone in his career. Over the last 6 years, Jim served as my aide in the department, and Jim has been by my side for those entire 6 years. During the first 3 years, Jim has responded to every call that we responded to, whether it was 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. And he was there with me, helping me as we worked through a number of different crises and difficult situations during the course of our time together. The first 3 years, as I indicated, we responded to just about every major call within the city. Darlene and I were sharing him quite a bit. In fact, I'm trying to figure out who spent more time with, me or you. But that's just the way Jimmy was. That as I needed him, he was there. Didn't ask a question. He was calling me and saying, "I'm on my way in, and I'm going to meet you where we're going to be." So that was something that I really appreciated him being there for. Basically, it was the first 6 months or 9 months that I was breaking into his department, and Jimmy really was invaluable to me in terms of just getting me through just the different avenues and curves and twists and turns in the Cambridge Police Department, which is extremely complicated, as you can imagine. It's a great police department. It's staffed by great people. But I really needed Jimmy's advice and counsel on a number of occasions. Jimmy was there with the most 2 traumatic experiences of the 3 of my entire 37 years here during my career, and he was by my side during those times. During the time of Professor Gates and Sergeant Crowley, that went on for months. Basically supporting me, being there, doing things, and watching my back as we worked our way through that situation was extremely difficult for us, extremely difficult for the department, extremely difficult for the community, but it was something that we had to navigate through, and he was right there next to me. The second was the incident involving Officer Collier's death. It was extremely difficult for all of us. One of the things that was extremely important to me that night was his relationship with John DeFrancesco. I mean, Jimmy and John go back, way back. Besides being related, I needed somebody to be with John. It was extremely difficult for all of us that night, and I couldn't have done what we needed to do that night without him. He was there the entire night with me until we went to the Arsenal Mall, stayed with me the entire time at the Arsenal Mall until I told him at 2 o'clock, "You got to go home." So it was a long day, but he was there, and anytime I needed something, he was there to do it for me, and he got it done. One of the things that we keep on reminding Jim, and Christine and I both remind him of this, is that his key phrase in his job description is all the duties that may be assigned. So every time we gave him a new assignment, he said, "Well, where's that in my job description?" He said, "It's that last line in the fine print, all of the duties as may be assigned." And Jim just took on a number of responsibilities during the course of that time. Prior to Kia coming, Jim was really kind of the backbone of the office in terms of doing a lot of things for Christina and myself. As we started to fall short in terms of some of our financial responsibilities, one of the things that I don't think Jim had an appreciation was just his administrative skills. His ability to do the financial things that we needed to get done, and his discipline and doggedness in terms of getting things done and being very precise. And especially the work we did in our office had to be precise. And again, it was something that he did with, that amazed me. I didn't expect that to be in his skill set. I don't think he expected to be an accountant when he became a police officer, but a lot of what he was doing involved that. He spent more than a year and a half just overhauling the property and evidence room. It was a task that we needed to get done, but it was a task that had to be done properly. I needed to make sure when Jimmy went into the property and evidence room that both Kevin and Diane felt comfortable, that they knew he was there to work with them, and that we just needed to re-overhaul the entire property and evidence room. We don't acknowledge that a lot, but it's a major vulnerability, Achilles heel in any police department. we're responsible for people's property and evidence and the safe care and custody of that property and making sure that it's disposed of properly. And Jim had to do a complete overhaul. And it took him a good year and a half to get that done. And he did a great job. And that system is still in place to this day. And I think both Diane and Kevin appreciate the work he's been doing with them in terms of doing that. But they were true champions in that process. I know it was unsettling for them, but they weathered the storm. They did great coming out the other end. More recently, I asked Jim to go down to our records management system, and again, it's another critical function in our department. And we just really weren't, we were concerned about what was good, not things weren't going right, but we really weren't aware of what was going on. And I needed somebody to go down there again and kind of look at the overall system, figure out how do we get ourselves better organized, but at the same time, making sure the staff in the Records Bureau didn't feel that they were going to be at any disadvantage. And the thing that's unique about Jimmy is that as much as he's all about the rules, he has a way of making people feel comfortable. And I think all of them felt very comfortable in terms of working with Jim when he went down there. He works very hard with them. He doesn't ask them to do anything he wouldn't do. And I think he's been doing a remarkable job in terms of doing that. Some of the qualities that I really admire in Jim is that that people know where they stand with Jim. I mean, there's no question. He's very much precise about, you're in the right place or the wrong place with Jim. We always talk about, well, sometimes you have to let some things go. And, I guess it's, no offense with DeFrancesco, he says, the Italian in me. So it just, it's something that I admire in him, but it's also something that complements my grayness. Jim tends to be a little bit more black and white, and I need it a lot of times when I'm talking to people to really get a good perspective of what's going on. He has my implicit trust. There is not a day that I work with Jimmy that I never questioned his loyalty, I never questioned his confidence that we blessed, and we talked about a lot of things during my 6 years here. A lot of things that just trying to gauge how it was going to be in the department, where we're taking the department, and he played a key role in terms of doing that in the capacity of being my aide. That was something I truly appreciated because I trusted his counsel, I trusted his advice going through that period of time. And as I said before, he's about the rules, but he makes people feel comfortable. Again, I think primarily because they all know where they stand, and Jimmy really works closely with people, communicates well with people, and again, that's another attribute that I think Jimmy has that he's done really well. And he has taken on every challenge I've given him. He's never said, I can't do that, I won't do that, I don't know how to do that. I mean, there's been times he says, I'm not sure how I'm going to do it, but he figures it out. And he really has been great in terms of moving forward. So there's been a lot of things that Jim has done to deserve this promotion, even though he's never asked for it and never sought it. So I think that really makes this day very special for Jim in the sense that it's something he didn't expect was going to happen, but because of just the way he is and not expecting anything in return, that it just came around this way. We welcome you to the command staff. He's a valuable member of our command staff. This command staff has really been fabulous. I was talking to a group of people the other day and just told them how blessed I was to have this command staff. And Jimmy, even though he was part of the command staff, he truly now has become part of our command staff when he assumes the title of Deputy Superintendent. The thing that Jim needs to recognize and understand, I think they all do, is that I've never seen a group of people work so hard before. And I think that they've gone beyond their expectations in terms of what they've accomplished in the department, beyond my expectations, and Jimmy's going to do the same. So the things he's done up to this point in time is just a starting point for him. He's now going to move on to a new set of challenges in this new capacity. It is now going to bring us into what is now become the post-April 15th era. Things have changed for us. All the rules have changed for us. How we deal with security and public safety within our community has now changed for us. And I need that additional capacity which Jim brings to the table as we move forward and really start to redefine what we're going to be doing to ensure the public that we are going to keep them safe, and we are going to do everything in our power to stop something like what happened in Boston on April 15th from happening again in our region. So I want to congratulate Jim. I think you really deserve this, and I just want to just acknowledge the fact that he's really worked hard to get to this place in time. So thank you.
Ready? One more second. Before we get to the real reason why we're here, I'd like to recognize Councilman Toomey, who's joined us. Thank you for coming today. We appreciate it. And now, Deputy Superintendent James DeFrancesco, please stand.
First of all, on behalf of the City Clerk's Office, I'd like to extend our congratulations to you. And just a little instruction, when I say I, I'm going to pause, and then you insert your name. Would you please raise your right hand and repeat after me? I do solemnly swear that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and will support the Constitution thereof. So help me God. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent upon me as a Deputy Superintendent of the Cambridge Police Department, according to the best of my abilities and understanding, agreeably to the rules and regulations of the Constitution and the laws of this Commonwealth. I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America. So help me God. Congratulations.
All of the duties that's making.
That's all I hear.
Ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you. Thank you for coming to this wonderful event. Promotion in the department is always a highlight of our year, especially when it's somebody as deserving as Jimmy and somebody who will be joining the ranks of the command staff of the department. Thank you, and please, there are some light refreshments out in the break room, and there'll be a photograph session for family and the command staff. And we'll get a photograph session. Thank you again.